Every morning, you lose the first battle of the day to your phone, your thoughts, or your fear. You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll. Someone's richer, someone's fitter, someone's happier. And before you even get out of bed, you've already lost. Not to the world, but to yourself. Tell me, how often do you feel like your own mind is a battlefield? You want freedom, time, peace, confidence, but every day something owns you. Your cravings, your impulses, your fears. So here's the paradox of modern life. We live in the freest age in history, yet most of us are still slaves, not to kings or governments, but to our unmastered selves. This video is about one idea that the ancient Stoics knew long before we forgot it. No man is free until he masters himself. These words echo across time, from Zeno of Citium's painted porch in Athens to the journals of Marcus Aurelius, to the quiet space between your thoughts right now. If this message spoke to you, you're already part of something rare, a small group of people trying to rule themselves before they rule the world. Like this video, leave your thought below, and join the circle, where we forge the mind and free the soul. Today, I want to show you how this ancient truth, self-mastery as freedom, may be the only antidote left to our modern slavery. But to understand it, we have to begin where every human battle starts, inside. Part 1. The prison we build. Look around. We've built a civilization of comfort, and yet the soul has never been more restless. We have infinite entertainment, but little meaning. We have more information than the Stoics could dream of, yet less wisdom than they'd tolerate. We chase dopamine like dogs chasing cars. You can buy pleasure, rent attention, and stream distraction on demand, but you can't escape yourself, because wherever you go, there you are. The illusion of freedom. We call this freedom. I can do what I want when I want it. But that's not freedom, that's indulgence. Freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like. It's not being controlled by what you feel like. A Stoic like Epictetus, who was born a slave, understood this far better than most free men today. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And when he said master, he didn't mean tyrant. He meant governor. Someone who understands his nature, rules his emotions, and acts by reason, not impulse. Let's test this. Ask yourself, what owns you right now? Maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's that person you can't stop thinking about. Maybe it's money, validation, anxiety, caffeine, or lust. Every craving whispers, "You need me." And each time you obey, the chain tightens. The Stoics called this pathe, the passions that enslave us when reason sleeps. We think we're chasing pleasure, but really pleasure is leading us. Example, the modern slave. Consider this scene. A man wakes up, scrolls through his notifications, feels a flash of anxiety. He checks again. Maybe someone liked his post, maybe not. He drinks coffee, rushes to work, curses traffic, dreams of quitting but never does. He spends the day reacting to messages, to moods, to everyone else's urgency. He thinks he's free. He even says it, "I can do whatever I want." But look closer. Every decision he makes is a reaction, not an act of will. He is, as Seneca warned, a slave to many because he is slave to himself. My point of view. The real prison of modern life isn't made of bars, it's made of habits. The average person isn't captured by a tyrant, they're captured by their own mind on autopilot. They are distracted, overstimulated, and constantly seeking relief. And every time they give in to impulse, they lose the strength to command themselves. Freedom begins at the moment you say no. No to the easy path, no to the craving that weakens you, no to the fear that stops you from acting rightly. Because when you can say no to yourself, the world loses its power to enslave you. Part 2. The Ancient Science of Self-Mastery. The Stoics divided philosophy into 3 pillars: logic, physics, and ethics. And for them, ethics was not about rules. It was about training the soul to live in harmony with nature. Nature, they said, gave us reason, logos, and when we live according to reason, we live freely. But to live this way, you must first master yourself by 5 methods. 1. Know your nature. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, once said that philosophy begins with recognition of our condition. You can't master what you don't understand. In modern terms, you can't fix what you won't face. So the first step of mastery is awareness, not self-judgment, awareness. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every night in his meditations. He'd ask himself, "What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What passions moved me?" That's self-audit, not for guilt, but for growth, because awareness is the mirror where freedom begins. 2. Rule the passions. The Stoics didn't deny emotion, they disciplined it. They called this state apatheia, not apathy, but mastery over irrational passions. You still feel anger, fear, lust, but they no longer own you. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," meaning most of our pain is mental fiction. You can't control what happens, but you can control the judgment that follows. So when you feel anger, ask, "Is this in my control?" When you feel fear, ask, "What story am I telling myself?" When you feel craving, ask, "Is this a need or a noise?" Each answer rewires your mind for mastery. 3. Train desire and aversion. Epictetus taught 2 essential disciplines: control what you want and what you fear. If you want what's not up to you, you'll always be a slave. If you fear what's not up to you, you'll never be free. So mastery isn't about controlling the world, it's about controlling your judgments about it. Modern psychology calls this cognitive reframing. Stoicism called it living according to nature. Same principle, different century. 4. The practice of deliberate discomfort. Freedom isn't built on comfort, it's built on training. Seneca recommended practicing poverty. Set aside a few days when you will be content with the scantiest fare and roughest dress, saying to yourself, "Is this the condition I so feared?" Modern translation: fast. Take cold showers. Walk instead of drive. Say no to the instant hit of pleasure. Each act of voluntary hardship strengthens the muscle of freedom, because self-mastery is forged, not found. 5. The logos within. The Stoics believed in a divine spark, logos, within every rational being. To master yourself is to align with that divine order, to act with reason, not reflex. When you obey logos, you become the author of your life. When you ignore it, you become a character written by chaos. Part 3. The modern battlefield. Now let's step into our world again. A world of algorithms, addictions, and endless scrolling. Every app is a philosopher teaching you what to value. And most of them teach this: react now, think later. That's the opposite of Stoicism. Now, 1. The attention war. Your attention is the new currency of slavery. Every swipe, every notification, every ad competes for your inner peace. You think you're consuming content, but often content is consuming you. Self-mastery begins with reclaiming attention, the ability to choose where your mind lives. Try this. Put your phone away for 1 hour. Observe the urge to check it. That's not boredom, that's dependency revealing itself. Each urge resisted is a chain broken. 2. The tyranny of emotion. Social media thrives on outrage, envy, and validation, the 3 poisons of reason. They make you compare, react, and conform. But the Stoic path teaches indifference to external opinion. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Because mastery means you no longer live to impress others. You live to obey truth. Imagine the freedom of that. No more compulsive comparison, no more emotional whiplash from strangers' opinions. Just calm, the kind you can't fake. 3. Emotional stoicism versus emotional suppression. Critics say Stoicism is cold, unemotional, that it kills passion. But that's a misunderstanding. Stoicism doesn't suppress emotion, it sublimates it. Think of a river. Uncontrolled emotion floods and destroys. Controlled emotion powers a city. Stoicism turns emotion into energy guided by reason. The man who controls his anger can use it to fuel justice. The one who controls his fear can turn it into courage. So mastery is not numbness, it's directed vitality. 4. The discipline of the will. There's a phrase in modern psychology, delayed discounting, the tendency to devalue long-term rewards in favor of short-term pleasure. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. They trained by envisioning consequences, asking, "What will this choice cost my soul?" Next time you're tempted to lash out, to waste time, to chase cheap pleasure, ask, "Will this make me stronger or weaker?" That question alone could rebuild your life, because the man who thinks before acting rules himself. 5. The modern warrior's practice. Here's how you start building mastery today. 1. Morning reflection. Before the world invades your mind, set intention. Today, I will master myself. 2. Pause practice. When emotion rises, count 5 breaths. Act only after calm returns. 3. Voluntary discomfort. Once a week, deny yourself something you crave. Feel the strength it gives you. 4. Nightly audit. Ask, what mastered me today? What did I master? This isn't religion, it's training. And the more you practice, the freer you become. Part 4. The Inner Empire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Freedom, then, is not a gift, it's a discipline. And mastery is the art of building an inner empire no tyrant can conquer. Now, imagine your mind as a chariot. The horses are your emotions. Powerful, wild, necessary. One pulls toward pleasure, another toward fear. If you let them run freely, they crash you into chaos. If you hold too tightly, they die of exhaustion. Mastery is learning to steer, not by force, but by understanding. Reason is the reins. Virtue is the path. Freedom defined. Seneca defined freedom as the power to live as you will. But as you will means according to right reason, not random desire. Because if your will is sick, your freedom is too. A man addicted to pleasure is not free. A man ruled by anger is not free. A man who must have approval to feel worthy is not free. Freedom is inner sovereignty, when your mind obeys truth more than temptation. Think of someone recovering from addiction. The world sees weakness, but what Stoicism sees is potential, because in each moment of restraint, that person reclaims a piece of freedom. You don't need to hit rock bottom to start that. Every small victory, one craving resisted, one emotion mastered, is a revolution inside you. The most powerful empire you'll ever build is internal order. But what about society's control? Some might say, self-mastery can't protect you from external oppression or injustice. True, Stoicism never promised external freedom. Epictetus was a slave, yet freer than his masters, because while they controlled his body, they could never touch his will. That's the point. Even when the world enslaves your circumstances, it cannot enslave your response. And that, the Stoics believed, is the last domain of human liberty.
Part 5. Living as a free man. So what does it mean to be free in our world? It means waking up and owning your attention, choosing your values consciously, responding, not reacting, acting from virtue, not vanity. It means being the calm in the storm of modern chaos. Freedom isn't found in wealth or followers or time. It's found in self-command. You could lose your job, your possessions, your relationships, and still remain unbroken. Because mastery gives you one thing no one can take: yourself. Tonight, before bed, ask yourself, what mastered me today? Anger? Fear? Distraction? Desire? What did I master? Patience? Discipline? Courage? Honesty? If I met my higher self right now, would he call me free? Write your answers. That's your battlefield map. That's where your freedom lives. Remember, the man who conquers others may be powerful, but the man who conquers himself is unstoppable. We were not born to be slaves to pleasure or fear. We were born to rule our own souls, to live with virtue, clarity, and peace. Freedom isn't something you demand from the world. It's something you build within, thought by thought, act by act, moment by moment. And when you've mastered yourself, no one and nothing can enslave you again. If this message helped you see yourself more clearly, then share it. Someone you know might still be fighting that invisible war inside. And if you want to keep building the kind of mind that no one can break, subscribe to Psyche Machina. Because here, we don't chase freedom, we forge it.